All right, guys, what's up? Welcome to Onelife Podcast. Here with Seth today. Thanks for joining us, man.
For sure, man.
You're a IFBB Pro.
IFBB Pro Bodybuilder.
You're a businessman, entrepreneur, and just an all-around big, nice guy. I'm excited to talk to you.
For sure.
Let's start with the bodybuilding.
Yeah.
How long have you been lifting? Actually, you're 6'2"?
I'm 6'2", yeah.
And how much do you weigh?
I think I weighed like 272 this morning.
Damn. And how much do you weigh on stage?
Well, so I competed last year at 270, and then I was telling you earlier I had some neck issues, so I quit working out. I wasn't taking anything, and I just kind of pulled back on the food a little bit. So now I'm like around the contest weight. I'm just not super shredded right now.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you're 270 on stage.
Yeah. So I won my pro card.
So
I won my pro card. I was 251, and then my pro debut was like 261. It was like a year later, and then I worked with another guy, and he like messed me up with some diuretics and pulled me all the way down like 240 something, which I looked really strung out and bad. Okay. And then I got back to it, and my buddy John Clint was doing my training, and that totally changed the game. With like, if your training is just like on point, everything's just gonna be working so much better.
Okay.
And so once I started doing that, I incorporated a lot of like mobility stuff in my training with the FRS program. With my friend John does these seminars and stuff, and that's played a big role in my training and helped maintain my size. Because if you can move more, you have more access to things, you'll be able to train more tissue, then you can be able to get bigger.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. And it's just to put in that proportion. I'm 6'1", I weigh 220, and I'm not a small guy by any measure.
But that's a good weight, though.
But I mean, I'm just trying to get across to people like I'm bigger than most people, and then you make me look tiny. You're another 50 pounds on top of me with 1 inch height. So that's huge.
Yeah.
How do you feel at that weight?
Right now, I mean, this feels normal. I mean, the first time I ever weighed 250, it was hard to put my shoes on. So it's like you create new set points as you go through your career. So it's like my first bodybuilding show was around 180 at this height.
Wait, really?
You know, back in 2010.
2010.
Yeah,
okay.
12 years ago. September 25th, 2010 was the first show I did in Youngstown, Ohio. It was the Cardinal Classic, and I won the heavyweight novice class there.
Gotcha. How long have you been lifting for? Like, how old are you now, if you don't mind asking?
What is that?
How old are you now?
33.
Oh, you're only 33.
Yep.
Okay. So how long have you been lifting?
So I started training in the end of 2008 with my friend Kevin. We were childhood friends. He lived down the street from my grandparents when I moved in with them, and he was into natural bodybuilding. His dad worked out, and we used to do the workouts in the magazines, man. And we take our little magazine to the gym, and I remember Lane Norton. We would follow this Lane Norton program. It was called like the FAT program. It was like a mix of like powerlifting and bodybuilding. And we train at Courthouse Fitness, and we used to go there 5 days a week and work out and do our HIIT cardio and all that stuff.
We're kind of training blind in a way, weren't we? Like, compared to today, when you can literally look up your favorite bodybuilder and follow their workouts and their diet, it's never been easier.
Yeah.
But I know, like, I'm 42, so when I started, I was blind. I was trying to figure this out by myself, watching people like bigger than me, and that was that.
Yeah.
There wasn't like there's basically a blueprint on how to succeed these days.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what do you love about bodybuilding? Like,
I love that I can do it and not everyone can do it. You know what I mean?
What do you mean by that?
Like, I just feel like when I diet for a contest, like it's a big mental thing. Like, not everybody can eat, 5-6 meals a day. Not everybody's going to wake up early and do all that cardio, and and sacrifice like all the other things outside, like all the distractions. Like especially being in Vegas, you have your pool parties, you have your nightclubs, you have the strip clubs or whatever, all the drugs and everything else. Like, I like that I don't have to indulge in all that stuff, and I can stay in my lane and get things that I need to get
Love
done.
that.
You know what
so
I
you
mean?
just built like a disciplined mindset.
Yeah, and I think that it comes from just playing sports. I've noticed, like, when I coach people for like their nutrition and their training, if they were an athlete when they were younger, they're a lot more coachable, and they'll follow a program more so than somebody that wasn't an athlete when they were younger.
That makes sense. Do you find the same thing in business, entrepreneurs? Like, fitness kind of transferred us?
Yeah, because one of my good friends, Michael Cartinian, he was a 9-time world champ in powerlifting, 181, 198, and he's put that in my mind. It's like, you have all this like knowledge, and you can put all this effort into like your training and stuff, and that can translate into business. So if you can succeed as an athlete and you can put that same mindset to a business, you can be really successful.
100% agree. 100% agree. And you're developing habits. You're developing like consistency. You know it doesn't happen overnight, right?
Yeah.
Like it takes time. You need patience.
And trust me, man, I'm not very patient.
Really?
I want stuff right now.
But I mean, you've learned to realize that it takes a certain amount.
Yeah, it just all takes time. Like back when I was in Ohio, I was trying to do, what I'm doing now. I didn't have the supplement company then, but like it just like it wasn't like picking up, and then I moved here and like stuff started clicking, and I just kept being consistent over time, and it just started adding up. You know what I mean?
That's interesting. Talk to me the difference between like the way you train opposed, like what have you learned throughout training? What have you changed to kind of get the size and shape that you're at now? Is it just being time, or have you changed the way you train? Are you failing? You moving forward?
So years ago, I would train like super high volume. I would go in the gym with no plan.
You used to train high volume, did you?
Yeah. So years ago, I used to do like a lot more sets. Would try to do 10 sets of 10. I would do giant sets. I would do all these different things.
How long were your workouts going for?
I mean, those workouts would probably be over an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, But once I started, when I linked up with John Quint, he changed my training. He's my best friend.
How long ago was this?
So I met John Quint at a bodybuilding show. We competed against each other. He was a super heavyweight and I was a heavyweight back in 2013. I remember I walked up to him and he was massive. And I was like, I remember I poked his shoulder and I was like, bro, how do I look like that? How do I get shoulders like that? And he just gave me this scowl look and I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk to this guy. And then like a couple months later, he hits me up on Facebook. He does like ART and all this stuff back then. And
what's ART?
So it's like active release therapy. So he did like body work and stuff on you. Gotcha. So I would drive up, it would take me like, 45 minutes to drive up to this guy, and he'd work on me like every week or every couple weeks. And he kept asking me to train. And I was like, bro, I'm not going to drive all the way up here and train. I should have started training with him earlier because, dude, once I started training with this guy, I got linked up with Westside Barbell and Tom Berry, and they were showing me actually how to deadlift, and I would learn about bands and accommodating resistance and all these things. I was telling you earlier about the reverse hyper and doing all that type of training. Like, it just transformed my physique. And then we started doing more lower volume training. So we started condensing the days of training into like 3 or 4 days a week. And then we started incorporating a lot of like mobility type of training. So we're doing like pails and rails, like isometrics at the joint level to create more space, like I was mentioning earlier. So like the more space you have, the more access to stuff that you have, so more tissues that you can train.
This is interesting stuff.
Yeah. So
no one's talking about this, right?
No, because no one knows what they're doing.
Yeah. No, that's super interesting.
Yeah. So it's like, when everybody talks about progressive overload and all this other stuff, if you can do joint isometrics and create more space and you have more access to more stuff, you don't need to train heavier every week.
What does that mean exactly?
So
the most layman's terms.
So if you have more range of motion in tissue, you can train more tissues. You know what I mean? So if you can't
recruit more fibers in a way.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you can't train it there, then you can't train it there to grow it. You know what I mean? Like, you can only grow with what you have access to.
So give me an example of something that you've done that's led to.
So like training like internal and external rotation of the shoulder.
Okay.
So if you're doing isometrics, there's different ways. Like there's what is the class called? Ken Stretch. Ken Stretch is part of the FRC/FRS program. So it's like doing the isometrics at low levels. You can do them low intensity, high intensity, meaning like shorter duration at a higher intensity would be like a high intensity joint isometric, or if you do like a low intensity one, so if like a 60-second hold at like a 30% intensity, would be a low intensity set.
Interesting.
So it's just like with your training. So if you're just doing these different things and you're going to create more space, then you're going to have access to more stuff to train. So you don't have to go heavier 5 pounds each week on training. So it's like, have you ever noticed if you're doing like bench press for so many weeks and you start to get weaker at an exercise on the bench press? So you're accommodating, or you're plateauing. So in order to surpass that's why we do different types of training. So if you wave your training up and then you pull back, you do a deload week. So you're not going to go heavier each week on every exercise.
Okay.
You got to wave your training.
It's getting crazy scientific, right?
Yeah.
Like the the evolve of it, like the evolution of bodybuilding is changing dramatically.
Yeah, I used to be going there and just do, what Arnold said to do all these 30 sets
ridiculous,
and train for 5 hours and all this stuff. And
so you're going 4 days a week?
Right now I'm only doing 3 days a week. So I just do like a push day, a pull day, and a leg day. And then usually like I'll bump it up to 4. I'll do like a chest day, a back day, a leg day, and then like a shoulder and arm day.
And how long are your sessions going for?
Like 30 or 40 minutes.
Wow. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, you just got to do what you got to do. And
that's so cool. Yeah. That just blows your mind, right?
But I think somebody new to training needs to train more volume to learn how to actually train. You know what I mean? Like learn the exercise, learn to connect with the tissue and train. And then as you get more advanced, start condensing it down.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend somebody that's first getting into the gym to do 3 days a week.
What would you recommend someone starting? Like how many days?
Like
how long?
Maybe 12 to 15 sets when they're first starting, and then start lowering it down.
Okay, like 4 days, 5 days a week?
Oh, yeah, probably 4 or 5 days a week.
Okay, but keep it within an hour or so.
Yeah, train one muscle group a day, and then as you start to advance, start to condense it down, do more high intensity sets and less sets, and because once you train the muscle and it's already fatigued, there's no reason to keep going there and just doing mindless repetitions.
That's interesting. What's some of the mistakes you've made with training over the years that you're like, hey, I wish I
trying to go too heavy on certain things. I remember I ripped the fascia in my quad, box squatting like 690 at Westside Barbell. Right after I turned pro, I heard it rip when I stood up, and I was like, oh no, I ripped my quad, tore my quad. But luckily I didn't. It just messed up the fascia on it. But then I was fine. Trying to get too heavy on bench press before. I felt like my tissue and stuff pop in my chest, and it ripped my pec, but I could feel it. I heard it. But just trying to go too heavy, and a lot of younger guys try to do the whole ego lifting type of thing.
Ego being the word,
right?
I
had a conversation with a new client this morning, and I was like, I just noticed a lot of younger guys are always trying to they tag me on their TikTok or Instagram doing their 1 rep max. I'm like, that's not how you guys build tissue. You're just like ego lifting and say, oh, I can bench press X amount of pounds so you can tell your friends. Like, that doesn't really mean anything to a physique standpoint. Unless if you're a power lifter, then go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't lift heavy at all. Yeah. I just try to get the muscle pumped up, muscle connection, and get the hell out of there and go do what counts with the nutrition.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So don't lift heavy.
Well, I mean, heavy is relative, right? So you got to figure out hey, I'm going to do, a set of 4 to 7, and I want to fail, around, in that rep range. So it's pick a weight that you're going to be able to fail within that range.
What is the range you recommend?
So it just depends. Like if you want to do, I was talking about this on live earlier, like for somebody who's asking about how to build their calves, we do a lot of time sets. So that'd be a low intensity exercise. So you could do a time set of like 60 to 90 seconds, and then you can follow it up with like a 4 to 7 set or 8 to 12 set, and you can run that for a couple weeks. And if you're doing the 8 to 12 set, then the next couple weeks maybe do a 4 to 7. So you're increasing the load and you're lowering the repetition. So that's more of a high intensity set.
Interesting.
And then the low intensity set is the longer duration one.
When you're talking about like recruiting more fibers, opening up the joint, how does somebody out there find out about that?
You can do the Ken Stretch classes. They have those online.
So Ken Stretch is it?
Yeah, so my friend John, his wife Sarah, does classes in Columbus at, I think they still do it at, what's that guy's name? The fighter, the immortal guy, he's a UFC fighter. I can't remember his name top of my head. But there's a gym out there, they do that, and I think they even do classes online.
Okay.
That you can do these.
Talk to like Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler. So you got Ronnie lifted crazy heavy. He's basically crippled himself.
Correct.
Then you got Jay Cutler, who's just walking and talking, completely normal. What's your thoughts on those approaches?
I just think that, obviously Ronnie Coleman overdid it with just trying to do too much weight. I mean, he probably would have still had the Olympias even if he didn't train super crazy like that. I mean,
that's
the best. He was best genetics in bodybuilding, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just pausing this. Yeah, it sucks to see that. It's upsetting actually.
Yeah.
To be the greatest in the world and all of a sudden you're kind of like an old man.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth it.
No, that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
How as far as being a big guy, how do you worry about your health being so big? Is it true that they say that someone's obese the same weight as you, and someone who's muscle, your body doesn't really know any different? So you got the same stress on your body?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I do get blood work a couple times a year, and it's always been pretty good. I mean, I've got it like 3 weeks out from a contest before, like with everything that I was taking, and my guy was like, if this is the worst your blood work looks with all the stuff that you're using, then you should be fine.
So you're getting checked a lot?
Yeah, I get blood work a minimum of 2 times a year.
Okay.
You know,
and most people probably don't do that at all, right?
Yeah. So
like
I mean, the kid I was talking to today, he said that some guy told him to take all this stuff when he was younger, and I'm just like, have you ever had blood work done? No. I'm like, okay. So the first thing I was like, hey, call my buddy, you know, down in Florida, get your blood work done.
Okay.
So
interesting. What's your diet? What's your diet like?
Right now it's all over the place because I haven't been like training or whatever.
Yeah, I've got to go.
But I get my meals at Protein House. I go there twice a week. Yeah, I just ordered them before I came here. So I would just get 6 ounces of meat and 1 cup of rice, and I do 2 or 3 of those a day, and then I'll do a protein shake with like oatmeal or something, and then sometimes I'll just go eat out.
Okay, so you're doing like 5-6 meals every day.
Yeah.
And then as far as when you're dieting, is it any little secrets, any little things you do?
So for me, when I diet, for the contest, my metabolism picks up really fast, and I know this sounds crazy, but I usually eat like McDonald's 2 to 3 times a week.
While dieting?
Yeah, because my metabolism gets so fast, and if I don't,
is that because you got so much muscle?
And if I don't eat junk food, I literally I'll just wither away.
Really?
Yeah.
So how many calories are you trying to?
I don't know how many calories, but I just try to do 6 to 8 ounces of protein when I diet, and then the carbohydrates vary.
Really? So you're not like weighing everything out, counting macros?
Oh well, I mean, I weigh the meat out and stuff, and then I'll weigh the carbs out too. Like I'll just do a lot of just white rice or like cream of rice or rice cake, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then if I'm doing the refeed meals, I just go get McDonald's. I get 2 double quarters and fries and a Diet Coke. And
you like that?
Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah. I used to joke with like people on TikTok Live. I used to get all these McDonald's points because I would use the app, and I had like 40,000 points.
Really?
And they were like, "Oh, let me get those McDonald's points."
Why
like,
McDonald's?
I don't know. It just digests well for me. It doesn't give me gas. It doesn't give me diarrhea. I don't get bloated from it.
Really?
Dude, yeah, even Dave Palumbo talks about it. There's something in that
really?
meat, man. I'm telling you.
Really?
There's something about McDonald's.
The special sauce. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's absolutely nuts. Any tips on like anyone trying to get to your size? Is it just hard work and consistency?
It's just the consistency, man. It's not about the drugs. It's about being consistent with eating those meals every day. I remember when I worked at the base, like I was telling you, when I was in the military, I would sit there and eat all those meals, and it would be to the point where they make me gag, and I'd stand over the trash can and I would just eat it. Like do that for a decade and tell me you didn't put on any weight.
Yeah. Do you think most people, that's where they're going wrong? They're not eating
everybody
enough?
will say, well, I eat all the time. And I'm like, what are you eating? And then they just tell me like a couple things. I'm like, well, that isn't eating.
Gotcha.
Dude, eat 6 ounces of protein 5 or 6 times a day, and eat 50 to 100 grams of carbs every meal for every single day for a decade. I guarantee you're going to put muscle on.
And that's it. And just train hard and consistently.
Yeah, dude.
That's very interesting. What's it like being such a big guy, like dating? Are you married? Are you dating?
Well, I was married at one point.
I think most of us were, right?
We're out here now. Yeah, I was back in Ohio. But yeah, I mean, I get the whole thing, like, oh, you're intimidating and they don't want to hang out or whatever, but it's cool. Certain people are into it, certain people are not,
People you date, are they fitness girls, or you ever date someone who doesn't train?
I mean, I've dated some girls that were into fitness, but I usually don't like, super girls that are into fitness. I like them thick ones, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's interesting. And that's the thing, right? Sometimes I feel like dating someone too similar to yourself can like be too much.
Well, I just want somebody's goals to align with mine,
Yeah.
And you said you've lived here for 12 years,
yeah.
And like the people out here are so different from Midwest, man. It's
crazy.
It's a lot different.
That's crazy. And then you've got, what's your business?
So we have the Slinkomania supplement line. We have the online coaching.
Slinkomania,
we got it right here. We have the Slinkomania. This is the pump product. We have blue cotton candy and grape. And,
gotcha.
We have protein, creatine, fat burners, test boosters. We dropped the intro, a high stem pre the other day. We have bomb sickle pop and orange mango. We have fish oil. We got a whole line of stuff. We're in a handful of stores across the country.
Is it who started? You got a business partner?
So it's all me, actually. So over the years, you get approached by these different companies that want to like sponsor you or whatever, but no one wanted to give me any money, and for it, they just wanted to give me subs, and I'm like, well, I'm, if you're picking me out to sell your supplements, obviously I might be able to sell my own. Right.
It's cool that you thought about that.
Yeah. So I talked to Jay. Actually, Jay Cutler put it, in my ear. I used to see him a lot at Fit Club, and he said, "Well, what am I going to do? Put you under my brand and have you sell my stuff with a promo code?" He's like, "You might as well just do it yourself." And I'm like,
"How good's that?"
Okay. So then 2 months later, I went to Olympia and I met up with Paul Callahan from Bullfrog, and he helped get me set up. Bullfrog Nutrition's out in Ohio, and he got me set up, and I met a couple cool guys. I met Caleb and Brad and Matt and all these dudes, and they started carrying my stuff in their store, and I got Brad doing all my manufacturing and stuff now, and he's kind of partners with me, helped develop some of the products. He has like a couple different brands that he has. He has stores all over he has his brand in a bunch of stores all over the country, and got me linked up with this cool dude named Andy, and he helps do all my shipping and stuff for me. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, man. I met a lot of cool people. Yeah.
That's cool, right? There's no money in bodybuilding for the most part, is there?
No, it's just like
unless you're the top level, and that's only recently where there's real money in it.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody's going to be Mr. Olympia. Everybody's not going to make six figures bodybuilding unless you
the food, the drugs, the supplements, everything it takes to get to that level.
Like I spent $1,200 a month on growth hormone for bodybuilding.
Did you really?
Last year? Yeah.
Damn. So just on growth.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's not food or subs or
no. So it's like a lot of these people, they think they're going to do these bodybuilding shows and they want to be Mr. Olympia and all this stuff. I'm like, listen, like I know it sounds cool, but it's like you have to have a lot of financial backing to do this stuff. You know? So you're going to have to come out with merch. I got the huge and cute line of jerseys and tank tops and t-shirts, and we got the supplements. I do the coaching. So is
everybody doing it, or you're a kind of anomaly? Like
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of pro bodybuilders that started their own brand, like Jason Hood and Seth Feroci and Fuad, and those guys have their own brands.
But I mean, they're not all doing it, are they?
No, they're not all doing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing.
Some of them have, supplement deals with other people. Like Regan's got tons of different sponsors, but
that's cool. Yeah. How is it? Is it doing well? Are you making
it's doing.
money?
I mean, doing good. We've been in bit. I opened up. I had my first product last July was the first product, and then since then we've had all the ones I listed. We have like 8 or 9 products or something.
Okay. Now. And what's the goal of it? Where are you trying to take it?
Dude, as big as I can take it. I'm just trying to get in more stores. We just had a conversation with my buddy Zach yesterday about, I think it's called ASN Supplements out of Boston. It's like Steve Cardillo's company.
There's one in Australia too, ASN.
Okay, I think pretty sure it's ASN.
It's one of the main ones in Australia, actually.
Okay, yeah. So he had a conversation with me yesterday about trying to get stuff in there. So we have an Arsenal Subs in Kansas, my boy Caleb, and Subs Madison up in Wisconsin. There's like 3 stores there that carry my stuff.
And I was gonna say, it probably makes a huge difference. Like you're surrounded by the people you compete with, you're connected. They've got shops, they got connections.
Yeah,
it probably is like invaluable, like those type of connections with what you're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
And then talk to me about your social media and like your influence and how that works.
So I make a lot of goofy videos. If anybody follows me, they know I make a lot of just goofy videos, and then I put fitness content out there too.
Like helping people.
Yeah, so I'll put like, here's how I do this exercise, blah, blah, blah. And I'll put like, this is what accommodating resistance is or whatever. Here's one of my favorite exercises for, how to build your arms or, but I really like the comedy stuff. I think a lot of people follow me because
what's the comedy stuff all
just
about?
A big goofy, I freaking well. I'll dance on there. I don't really care. Yeah, I just be myself. I'm not trying to be anybody else, what I mean?
I feel like people relate to that, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's that saying? You try to impress everybody, you impress nobody.
Yeah.
Like just be yourself. And same as this. Like people are gonna like me, people are gonna not like me. Right. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And if I'm trying to make everybody happy, I'm not gonna make anyone happy.
Yeah.
That's insane. So you got supplements, and then you're taking that money and investing in real estate.
Yeah, so I bought 2 houses in the past. So I bought a condo last September, and then I bought the house I live in now in April, and then hopefully I can buy another one next April. I'll use my military home loan. So I use all my military benefits to get these houses.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then you just want to continue investing, like.
Yep. So I want to continue investing. My buddy Frank actually talked to me yesterday thinking about doing some of those Airbnb arbitrage things.
Okay.
So I'm always down to make money, man. If it makes sense to me and we can do it, as long as I'm not doing all the extra work, then I'm for it, because I already got a lot on my plate.
Yeah,
doing all
I can
this stuff
imagine.
now. Yeah. So
Are your parents like entrepreneurs, business?
no,
Where does that come from?
they live. I'm from a super small town, man. We had Walmart. We didn't have a movie theater or anything. It's just
That's where I grew up.
everybody usually works at the mall. My mom worked for the what do you call it? She worked for the city, and then she worked for the state doing like food stamps and stuff for people. Like she was like I guess it was like a caseworker or something.
Okay.
And my dad worked. He works in like a factory. But yeah, my grandparents they both worked in factories. So I just come from like a super small town. So like it's kind of weird that like I moved out of a small town and they think that's crazy. I live out in Vegas and they're always trying to get me to come back, but I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I came from a small town, like 3,000 people, a little coastal town in Australia.
Yeah.
Some people still live there. And it boggles my mind that you could never get up and leave that small town.
Yeah, it's just like
you can always go back, but I mean,
for what though? I mean, do I want to live that small town life where like what I was telling somebody yesterday? I said what I like about Vegas is it's like for one, there's more opportunity. You can meet so many people.
Huge opportunity here.
You can make so much more money, and you have access to everything. And it's just like if I want to go to a pool party tomorrow and just hang out with my friends, I can wake up tomorrow and go to a pool party, or after this we could just go there. Can't do that in Washington Courthouse, Ohio. Where am I going to go eat at?
Even just all you can eat sushi or something, right?
Yeah, like you can do anything at any time of the day.
And the airport's 5 minutes away. Like
it's just like you can't. Even when I was in Columbus, like all that, like the McDonald's is down the street from my apartment. You know, they closed at 10:30. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't do like what am I going to do there?
You kind of get spoiled living in Vegas, don't you?
Yeah, you could do whatever you want, man.
Like I remember being in Cali trying to buy alcohol at like 10 o'clock at night, and you can't buy alcohol at 10 o'clock at night.
I don't drink, so I didn't even know
I don't really either. It's just I just remember we went to get something and I was like, no, you can't get alcohol because
it's too late.
Things shut.
That's crazy, dude.
Whereas like there's nothing you can't get 24/7 in Vegas.
Yeah.
You become spoiled in a way.
Yeah, I like it. It's fun.
That's insane. Yeah. And then you're doing online coaching.
Yep. So I'm online coaching. I actually have a fitness app that drops in like 2 weeks. You
got your own app?
Yeah, we're gonna have our own
app.
Dude,
you're very entrepreneurial. I love
it. I just want to be successful, bro. I don't want to be freaking poor.
I love the fact that you're doing what you love, but you're setting up a plan.
Yeah.
You're taking advantage of the way you look, the exposure you've got, and then you're leading that into other things. So then when you retire from bodybuilding, you're set, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the plan, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's like my whole thing is I just want to keep buying more real estate up because everybody needs a place to live is how I see it.
Yeah, brick and mortar, like they all say.
Everybody needs a place to stay.
How does the online coaching work?
So they'll fill out an inquiry form and then we will go over that. I'll usually do like a FaceTime call with them. Me or my team will like reach out to them and we'll discuss and see if I can help them in some way. And if so, I write them a custom diet plan and training program. We do check-ins multiple times a week with pictures and feedback and your weight charts and based on their progress and how consistent they are. If I need to make changes, I make changes. If not, we just let it ride. And
what type are you getting people trying to get bigger, lose weight?
I don't really train a lot of competitors, nor do I want to.
Okay, talk to me about that.
They're just too needy, and I don't like to deal with like too much people that want to compete. I like just lifestyle clients that people just like, I need to lose 100 pounds.
That's awesome.
Those are more, I love that because it's like I feel like they appreciate it more.
It's probably more rewarding too, right?
Yeah, like I used to train with this guy. His name was Josh, and he lost like 100 pounds in 9 months with me, and he just feels like a totally different person.
You saved his life.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he went from like a massive gut to like abs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He looks totally different.
That's awesome.
I worked with one of my friends, my friend Cody, my friend Kyle Griffin. He went to school or something with him, and he's worked with me for like 2 years, and he's went through a divorce and all this other stuff, and this dude would send me check-in. He would sleep in his car and send me freaking check-ins. His wife would let him into the house to take pictures. He would take. Yeah, bro. Like I love that dude. He's just on it, bro.
That's interesting.
I have another guy named Derek. He actually just moved here to pursue more bodybuilding. He's a truck driver. Send me check-ins in his semi truck.
Really?
Yeah, bro. It's the people like that I like to help.
That's gotta be rewarding, right?
It is, dude. It makes me feel good that I'm like helping these people.
How many are they paying like retainer each month?
Yeah, so I have everybody set up on just like subscription-based programs.
What do you charge? Is it different?
So it just depends on what they want.
Okay.
If they want more attention or they want less attention or whatever. So it just depends on the thing that they need.
Gotcha. And you mentioned a team, so it means you're not doing it all yourself.
Well, so this is what the fitness app is going to be doing, because I'm getting more people, so I'm going to have I have like a sales team and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not going to be able to train 100 people by myself. You know what I mean?
No, I mean you're probably going to burn out if you did.
Yeah, I would just be on the computer all day long.
Yeah, and then you're not going to want to go train yourself.
Yeah, because I've noticed like that I've been focusing more on my business, that like sometimes I forget to eat. That's why I've been doing the protein house, because now it's already made. I don't have to worry about it. And
you're forgetting to eat. That's interesting.
Yeah, dude. Sometimes I'm just like on the computer doing stuff, or I'm sending people messages about the subs, and then I gotta make sure that they, they're getting sent out, or make sure people get their orders. And if something messes up, then they're DMing me, and it's like I can't be customer service coach, bodybuilder, cooking food, cardio. Yeah, it's just like it's too much, and it's like I can't do all this stuff by myself.
I feel like business is like delegating and being able to step back and outsource and leverage yourself.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much you can do by yourself.
Yeah.
You're either going to hate your life and going to be stressed out, or...
Well, then I don't even want to work out sometimes because I'm too tired.
That's kind of what I'm getting at too. Yeah. And your main focus is
Yes.
What is your main focus? Is it bodybuilding?
Well, so
or is it transitioning?
So when I hurt my neck, I'm like try to transition. Like I'm just going to try to get to the business and do all this stuff because I can't really work out. And then I told you I figured out how to fix my neck, so I've been doing that. It's been fixing my neck. But like I would like to fully get back into full-time bodybuilding and have all these other people that can fill in the gaps where I need help.
Gotcha.
It's just hard to find people that I want like a graphic design guy to help me like come up with new stuff for Instagram so I can post and promote the products and stuff. Yeah. And it's just like, would be nice to have somebody answer the emails and not have people DMing me hey, you have the questions on this stuff. Like it's a lot.
Yeah. It's very hard to find good people, but I always look like if Amazon can get hundreds of thousands of the right people,
right,
you and I can figure out just 5 or 10, right? That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is frustrating because no one cares about your business like you do.
Right. Yeah. So when something happens, I wish I could physically do it, but if it's not in my hands, I can't fix it. I can just relay messages.
Or you can replicate.
It gets done right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Replicate yourself 10 times, you'd be good, right?
Yeah. Well, some of the people I have now are really good. Andy is amazing. So I really appreciate everything he's done for me up there in Wisconsin. So without him, I'd be like, I don't know what to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever lost motivation, like with your training? You ever fallen off track?
I mean, I have before. I mean, at the end of last year, the beginning of this year, when I had my neck issue, I mean, that was very frustrating because I was just like...
Frustrating being a good word, right?
Well, it was frustrating that I like couldn't train and or whatever.
Mentally you want to, physically you want to, and then... you don't enjoy training when you're injured, do you?
No.
It sucks.
Well, it's just like, because you don't know what to do because you have this doctor telling you this and this person telling you this and this person's telling you should do that, and then they give you a shot in your neck and it doesn't do anything, and you're spending all this money going back and forth with these people, and it's just like you can't get any answers, and everybody tells you all these different things, and no one really knows what's going on.
What's your advice on that? Like, how do you pivot around that? Because I feel like everyone goes through that.
Well, I just call my buddy John Quint because he's the only one that knows what he's doing.
But I mean, but that took you a while to realize too, right?
Him and Brian Fox, yeah.
But I mean, you didn't do that straight away either, did you?
Well, I mean, he's been doing so much stuff lately, it's hard for me to get a hold of him.
Okay.
And since I moved, because I literally used to live down the street from him and I was with him every single day. So I've learned so much stuff from being with this man for every day for, years. And that's how I think that's helped me, and that's helped my clients too, because I can give them a little bit of advice. But a lot of people come to me with these questions that I just don't have answers to because I don't know how to do assessments on people. So I'm like, you have to get an assessment to be able to like do some of these exercises, because I don't know what you can do if you're hurt hip. Like I don't know what degrees of motion that you have. I have no idea.
No,
you know what I mean?
But
if you got an assessment and they said you can do this, I can walk you through those exercises to do. But like, I don't know how to do assessments and stuff on people.
Okay.
That's not in my wheelhouse.
How important do you think it is having a training partner or a coach?
I think it's good for the coaching aspects. Is going to hold you accountable if you have trouble with accountability. And then if you have a good training partner, like John was a great training partner, Michael Cartini was a good training partner, Will Cox was a good training partner. If they're going to show up on time every day and help push you through those sets, it's good. But if they're going to be late and they want to complain and talk about girls and all this other stuff, it's not the place.
So finding the right training partner.
Yeah, it's finding the right people.
And if you can't find the right training partner, potentially getting a coach.
Yeah.
And even, would you say at the beginning and a professional level, it's just as important as each other?
Yeah, I think that when you're starting off, I mean, people say, oh, you can use Google or just watch videos online, but it's like, I feel like you need to find somebody that knows exactly what they're doing, not somebody that has a bunch of TikTok followers or Instagram followers. It's finding somebody that's been doing it for a while and see that they've had success with themselves. You know what I mean? I mean, not saying every great bodybuilder is a great coach. Like there's certain top pro bodybuilders that's even won the Olympia I wouldn't take advice from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like some of those, their genetics, they just do whatever and they just look like that.
Yeah.
But like if they build a pretty good physique for themselves and then what they're saying actually makes sense, then yeah. I've had a lot of wacky people, or people tell me a lot of wacky things with different drugs and all this stuff.
Really?
I'm like, bro, this makes no sense.
What's some weird stuff you've heard?
Oh, take insulin after you work out, and then 15 minutes later, take more insulin. It's going to make the insulin spike higher.
Isn't that dangerous?
Makes no sense.
Is that dangerous?
It's not dangerous, but what that was said makes zero sense.
Okay. I don't know anything about insulin.
Yeah, well, it works.
I've definitely heard insulin combined with other stuff makes a dramatic difference.
It definitely works for sure.
What's the difference between you and I, from my level to your level?
What is your level?
I mean, as far as just like my size and my shape, if I want to go from me to you, just putting it out there, what is the difference? Is it training harder? Is it eating more?
It's probably just training and eating. Like, I don't know how much food that you eat or what your training style is, but I mean, there's always room to make improvements.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't say that you're maxed out with your frame. I mean, you're 6 foot tall, so I mean, you could definitely hold a lot more weight.
Yeah, I'm just talking hypothetically. I'm just wondering, because I always wonder what the difference is between a 220 guy and a 250, 260 guy. Yeah, because there's a big difference, but what is that difference?
I think it's just the food, man, because it's not like, I mean, we have similar frames. I mean, I feel like, I mean, I don't know how consistent you are with food, or if you ever try to push the calories higher, push the carbs higher.
So I don't,
push
because
the drugs.
I like the size I'm at.
Yeah, well then, yeah.
But I'm just curious on like what it would take for someone out there who's my size that wants to
probably
go to the
just
next level.
more food. I mean, I'm not sure what drugs or if you take any of that stuff, but I mean, whatever your doses are. I'm not saying more is better, but I mean, it could be more for you. I mean, it just depends on the person. Like, I don't really take a lot of stuff when I compete in bodybuilding shows, but I know a lot of people that, I know somebody that takes 2,000 milligrams of test and they're not a pro bodybuilder. To me, that's crazy. But if your body can handle it,
some crazy stuff.
I mean, take it.
Are you okay talking about like?
I mean, I'm not going to go into all that stuff, but I mean, we all know that there's drugs in bodybuilding for sure.
Do you feel like I kind of like you touched on a second ago? Do you feel like a lot of people are taking way more than they need to?
Yeah.
And they're not training right, they're not eating right, and they're relying more on the drugs.
Yeah, and I think the internet has messed it up, because a lot of these younger guys are always taking stuff before they learn. They're running before they can walk, right? So they're not figuring out how to train, and they're not eating all those meals like I mentioned earlier. And it's just, they think they hear some cycle from so and so and take X amount of tren and all this stuff that they're going to get bigger, when you can take all the steroids you want, but if you don't have the food to build the tissue, it's not going to stick.
It's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I had a question for you and I just lost it. It was I'll come back to it. Totally. That was a good question for you too. What is the goal of the bodybuilding from here? Like, you're at such a high level.
So when I started out, right when I started following bodybuilding, I was hanging out with my friend Kevin from down the street, and we would go to these shows and work out and stuff. Like, my goal was always to win the Arnold Classic.
Okay.
And so,
who do you look up to?
Like physique wise?
Yeah, who was your inspiration as a kid, and like
so
even
the first bodybuilder that I remember watching on TV was Flex Wheeler.
Okay.
I remember watching that on ESPN with my dad.
He looked amazing though, right?
Yeah, it's freaking looked crazy, bro.
Not too crazy big, but
he just looked perfect. It's like, if you could take the perfect body, that's what that guy would look like. Looked crazy. But he never won the Olympia, which probably should have won, So yeah, like a guy like that. I like Kevin Levrone, Dennis Wolf, Cedric McMillan, Jay Cutler. Those are all physiques that I really like.
Okay.
Yeah, Dorian Yates. Did a FaceTime call with him a couple years ago.
Did you really?
That was pretty cool.
He seems like such a cool guy.
Yeah, he was.
I would love to talk to him.
Yeah, dude, it's $500 for an hour.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was cool though.
I saw him on Joe Rogan. I was like, he's just and I love the fact that he's healthy and he's into yoga.
Yeah, he totally switched directions.
He's into longevity, and he just seems like just a chilled, nice guy.
Yeah.
and he had so much impact on bodybuilding.
Well, that's, so me and John did our FaceTime call with him because we wanted to figure out, he had the big back. So we're like, we got to do to build this back. So we did our little FaceTime call with him, and so we learned a little bit of stuff about that, like what he took for the Olympia and all that jazz. And
was it helpful?
Yeah, I think it was pretty helpful.
It's kind of like investing in yourself in a way, right?
Yeah, I mean, I even tried to write off of my taxes.
Did it work or not?
I don't remember. I remember I sent it to the guy, and he wanted me to send one guy like a 1099. I'm like, bro, because like I wrote off like my coaching because it was like several thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And he's like, we need to send him a whatever. I'm like, I'm not gonna mess around with all that.
That's crazy. Yeah. I remember a question actually. Someone getting into lifting, and how long do they train for? How long do they stay natural before they step it up, in your opinion? Because I feel like a lot of people are jumping in way quicker than they need to.
Yeah, I think the internet's messed that up.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's your recommendation?
When I competed in natural bodybuilding, like my goal was just to be a natural bodybuilder.
Okay.
And then somebody came to me with this idea one day. He's like, hey, I can help get you on TV if you just get bigger. And I'm like, well, I'm never going to be as big as what you want me to be if I'm not going to, whatever. So,
what were you weighing naturally?
I got like fat at 235. Like no one in my family's like jacked. Like my dad's like 5'10". My brother's like maybe an inch taller than me. He's like 260. My mom's like super short. My grandpas are super short. So it's no one really like works out. Like, I'm probably like just like the random guy.
Yeah, essentially.
You know what I mean?
So how long? How long? Sorry, how long into it?
So it's just.
Would you say put a good couple years in, 5-10 years, like depending on your goal?
I think it just depends on what your goal is. Like I said, a lot of people have that pipe dream of being Mr. Olympia, and it's not really in the cards for hardly anyone. But I mean, you can do what you think is best. But I mean, I wouldn't recommend someone just starting to work out and take stuff. I mean, there's girls I've heard that's worked out for like 3 months and they're already on Anavar, and I'm like,
yeah,
why? They're like, well, my coach told me to. I'm like, that's horrible advice.
It's trying to find the right coach too, right?
Yeah, it's just, I think a lot of the coaches, they don't care about the health. Like I won't train, like I don't even train any women right now. And if girls come to me and want me to help them, they want to take drugs, I don't even train them.
Okay, that's awesome.
I don't want to be responsible for their voices getting messed up, their hairy lip, and their business downstairs getting bigger. I don't want to be responsible for any of it, dude.
No, I like that.
That's not my thing.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What's the difference between like you and Mr. Olympia? Like, do you have what it takes? Are you capable of getting big enough?
Maybe, but I mean, is it
like what separates?
I don't know what I mean. I don't know. I don't know if I have the time to try to do it. I mean, I could try to do all this stuff, but is my business going to fail? Is it worth trying to be Mr. Olympia and try to do all this stuff by myself?
So you got to really, 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 really want to be.
Yeah, I mean, like you have some of these guys, that live with their parents, and they give them financial backing, and then they get sponsors. They don't have rent to pay. Like, dude, I got $3,000 some in mortgages I pay every month.
Yeah,
I got a $1,600 car payment. I don't have time to spend all this extra money on all this other stuff. You know what
interesting.
I mean?
Yeah. Do you think you can look at somebody and figure out their potential by the wrist size, the neck size? You
can look at somebody and be like, okay, they got round muscle bellies or whatever. They could be a pretty good bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean,
do you think there's a certain type of person, like Samoan or Hawaiian or Maori? Those guys who just...
I've seen some of those Italian guys got pretty good at genetics. There's this guy, well, my friend John, he's Italian, and then there's other kid, he's not a kid, but his name's Brian Balzano, if you ever heard of him. He used to train he probably still trains at Metro, or back where I'm from. And this dude did one bodybuilding show, and he won the overall, and the next show he did was USA's, and then he won his Pro Kart USA's.
Really?
2 shows.
Oh, damn.
Crazy looking.
Really?
You have to look him up. Brian Balzano. Great.
Just genetically.
Yeah. And I'm like, how does somebody look like that?
Really?
It's like you can't really compete with a guy, you know what I mean? If you're in the same weight class as that, like you have a guy that works out for X amount of time and he looks like a pro bodybuilder before he's a pro body, like, you know what I mean? First show, you're like...
That's kind of frustrating, right?
I remember I was with my dad. We went to the Mike Francois. He was like a middleweight. He only weighed like 160 something, I think. And I was like... He walked out, and my dad looks over at me. He's like, if that guy doesn't win, it's rigged. We haven't even saw anybody else yet.
Really?
This is like, you still have all those other classes.
It's so yoked.
Dude, he looked like his striations, Justin Compton prepped him. I think he still does. He has striations from his lower back, his whole glutes down to his hamstring.
Really?
I've never seen someone's glutes. I'm like, dude, this guy looks crazy. Yeah.
That's nuts. Actually, very interested to ask you this. What's your opinion on bodybuilders now compared to like Arnie, Frank Zane? Do you like the bigger guys? Do you like the old school kind of aesthetic look?
So, I mean, you have all the Mr. Olympias look pretty good, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But there's a significant difference now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Phil Heath looks wild. You know, he looks crazy round. Everything looks just nuts. You know, I think Arnold was you know, Arnold's like one of the best. You know, if we didn't have Arnold, we wouldn't have bodybuilding.
Nah, full stop.
You know, it's like if you didn't have Hulk Hogan, we wouldn't have wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
you know what I mean? It's like you got to put him up there, but I don't think Arnold's the best. No, I mean, if you put him next to, you know, some of these guys today, he wouldn't, you know, he's not going to beat some of these guys today.
It's kind of like UFC, like when Gracie fought who was it? He just got his butt kicked.
Yeah,
but Gracie literally made UFC.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, I love the 90s. The 90s bodybuilders to me are always the best.
Who stands out from the 90s?
You know, Flex Wheeler, Lerone, Chris Cormier, Dorian, Sean Ray. I mean, like, dude, take any of those guys and put them up against the guys now. Who's going to beat them?
That's interesting,
Nasser,
right?
You know, all those guys look just crazy, but I think their drug quality is a lot better than too.
Do you think that's what's making guys bigger and better these days?
What is?
Like, is it the drug quality?
Well, I think the drug quality then was better. They were drier.
Oh, really?
I don't think the drugs are as good as they were that many years ago.
Guys are bigger today though than ever, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think that their training is different. They're doing a lot of like pump work. Like they look flat until they pump up. Me and John's talked about that like a couple years ago before I moved. It's just like the training back then in the 90s and the training now is completely different. And the training back then was a lot better.
That's interesting. What do you think the main difference is?
I think they're just trying to take like filler drugs. Like they're trying to take a bunch of insulin and carbohydrates and just fill up the muscle and pump up and do low intensity work, like I was saying earlier. So higher volume training. And it's not as dense muscle as it was 8 years ago.
Gotcha. Do you think there's a like GH insulin? Do you think there's a lot more of that these days than there used to be, or
sure? But I
just not know enough.
But I think the GH then was better too.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people use generic growth hormone now instead of like all the pharmaceutical grade stuff,
like the good stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's obviously people are still using the pharmaceutical stuff, but it's just like I think it's more easy to get the generic stuff, and they'll say, oh, well, it's good, it's tested, blah blah blah. There's a difference, bro. I used to take the generic growth hormone, my hands would get numb. I switched to the real stuff, my hands don't get numb. So tell me, what's the difference?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Stuff's really working.
Yeah. But it's all what you can afford. You know what I mean? I told you I spent $1,200 a month on growth hormone, bro.
Yeah, that's insane. What the whole growth gut thing, what's that all about?
I think it's an excess of food. They're trying to eat too much food. I don't think their organs are actually growing.
Really?
Yeah, because you'll see you've seen certain guys walk around with big bloated guts, and then the next, see them again and their waist is tight. So I think it's just like they're trying to eat foods like too much at one time, like trying to carb up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's just not digesting. Like if you're trying to get on stage, at 10 o'clock in the morning, why would you stuff your stomach full at 8 o'clock and eat a bunch of your stomach's going to get huge? Why wouldn't you eat it the night before so it stores?
Yeah.
In the muscle, you know what I mean? So I think a lot of people are trying to do too much at the end, and then they're bloated, and that's what gives them that look.
Okay. The like bigomania, people get, hey, I'm never big enough. Yeah. Do you experience that? Do you see yourself for the size you are?
Yeah, I don't see myself as being massive, no.
Do you think that's I don't mean you personally, but you think that's a pretty serious condition that guys are suffering from?
I think so, yeah. Craig talks about that openly too. Goliath, he doesn't think he's huge, and I'm like, bro, you're fucking 330.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How do you get, like, even myself, like, it's so hard not to compare yourself with the others. Oh, he's leaner, he's bigger. And for me personally, I'm like, am I okay with myself? Do I like the way I look? Do I like the way I feel? Yes or no? And that's how I justify it.
Yeah, man. Well, the internet's making it worse because
the internet's making it a lot worse.
And then you're getting on stage and you look phenomenal, and you have like 7 people and telling you that you need to be bigger, you need to be leaner. And you're like, well, I thought I looked pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now it's in your head, and then now you're eating food after the show, and now you're all depressed because now you're grainy and shredded, and now you're like watery and still lean, but like. I mean, if I don't know if you did a show, but like when you're grainy shredded and you're like skin's paper thin, and then a week later after the show, you're not taking the certain amount of drugs or the same type of drugs that are drying you out and making you harder, and now you're like softer. It really plays with your head, dude. And then you think you look like crap. In our reality, you still look better than 99% of people walking around.
That's what I always say. Yeah.
I mean, right now I'm not super lean, but like I guarantee if I go to the pool, I'm leaner than most people there. You know what I mean?
And I feel like the problem that like you and I experience is we're surrounded by, we go to the gym, you go to a health food store, you go to a supplement store, you live and breathe, you talk it. So therefore you think everybody is in the fitness realm.
Yeah.
And then you step back and you go to a theme park, you realize that 90.9% of people, 60% of populations are obese right now.
Right.
So it's easy to compare yourself with others. And then social media, it's always the person, like I just did pictures of Cordell. It was the day of his competition.
Yeah.
He was shredded. He looked amazing. And that's the pictures that we took.
Yeah.
We didn't take pictures of him soft or fluffy.
Right.
We took pictures of him in his peak.
Yeah.
And that's what he's going to post. So therefore, everyone's comparing himself with him in his prime. And that's the problem with what's happening on social media, isn't it? No one's really showing the raw side of it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, a lot of people, you get the filters and you edit it and everything else.
The right lighting.
Yeah, it makes you look better. I mean, yeah, you take a picture in certain lighting, or you're leaning, or you're turned a certain way, it's going to make you look bigger or whatever.
Pumped.
Yeah, but I mean, like you see, I've met so many people or seen them in person. They look, even the girls, dude, they filter those pictures out, and you see them, you're like, they don't look like, they don't look the same.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole catfishing, right?
Oh, bro, been there. What's
a bad experience you've had?
I read like one time this girl, she hit me up or whatever. This was like several years ago, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I get there and I'm like, whoa, she didn't have no makeup on or nothing. I was like, I got to see it through, my boy.
You suck it up. You stuck it out. That's always a tricky situation.
Yeah, whatever.
You don't want to be that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Cool, dude. Is there anything else you want to touch on as far as like you got someone lifting weights, looking to get bigger? Kind of summarize it up for me. Your key points.
Just to get, I mean, like we talked about before, just it's the consistency of day after day, week after week, and all those years added up. And we talked about patience. I lack a lot of patience, but you have to be patient with it and just do those things over and over again for years and years, and not miss the meals and not miss
meals being the big one, right?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If you miss, if you have a meal plan that you're trying to follow and you miss one meal a day for 7 days, now you just miss 7 meals.
Yeah, that's potentially like
thousands of calories.
Calories.
Extra chances for you to better aid your recovery and put on a little bit more weight. So if you didn't gain any weight or gain any muscle mass in the past couple months, but you missed 7 meals a week for 3 weeks, that's 21 meals.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
So that's that's several days of eating that you missed out on.
What about mindset, developing mindset, the discipline? How does that? What's just what do you suggest on that? Like, what do you reckon? How does someone develop a strong mindset?
Oh man. So like when I'm not feeling it or whatever, I honestly just watch Jay Cutler motivation videos, bro.
Okay, that's a great idea, right?
Yeah, like pick somebody that you look up to that motivates you, and watch their videos or read something that they wrote or whatever to help get you back to
that's
where
a great
you need
idea.
to be. Yeah.
What about if you're overweight and you're say you're 40, you've been overweight your whole life? How do you get motivated? Like how do you get change before you have a heart attack or something goes wrong?
I would seek out somebody that can help you, hold you accountable and take you through the whole process. Like go to the local gym, get a trainer to meet with you 3 days a week, and if you can't afford it, then it's just like you got to figure out a way to afford it, because it's
I like how you say that.
It's your life, you know what I mean?
Health being your wealth, right?
Yeah, so it's like if you got to find a way to make it happen, or you're gonna suffer. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of people say, oh, I can't afford it, and I'm like, or I got to ask my wife won't let me do this. I'm like, does your wife control your happiness, bro? Because right now you're telling me that you're 40 pounds overweight and you're unhappy, you don't want to take your shirt off, you can't go to the gym because you feel bad about yourself or whatever, and now your wife's telling you can't pay a couple $100 a month or whatever to make yourself feel happy. That's crazy.
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
You know what I mean?
What about environment? Like, the environment is huge, isn't it? As far as your good or bad influence,
right? How
do you break out of a bad environment into to make change? Like your friends drink, smoke, go to the pool parties.
Yeah, I mean, you are who you hang out with.
Yeah.
So if you hang out with a bunch of people that smoke and drink all the time, and you notice that you're doing that, and you want to make a change, then you're just gonna have to stop hanging out with them.
change your friends.
Yeah.
And that's not easy to do though,
Well,
is it?
I'm almost to the point now, it's like, if you don't make X amount of dollars, bro, I don't think I can really mess with you anymore.
Okay.
Because I feel like, you for one, you can't do nothing because you ain't got no money to go eat with me. And what am I going to pay for your food every time we go out to eat? Like, you're not adding any benefit to my life. We're not making money together. We're not growing together.
Even the conversations
you're not even on the same. Yeah, you're not even like a lot of the people that I talk with now, bro. Like, it's all about us making money together.
Yeah, ideas and business ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I have some people that I don't do business with that I just like enjoy their friendship, and they're great. They're just great people. But like, I don't want to hang out with people that are not like trying to go where I'm going. You know what I mean?
And it's not a personal thing, right? It's just self-awareness.
Yeah.
Like, show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
Right.
If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Right.
That type of mentality, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Surround yourself with millionaires, you'll be the next millionaire.
For sure, bro. I just, yeah. Come on, bro.
Honestly, that's what I love about this is everybody I'm talking to is driven, doing well, and it just makes me accountable. I'm like, I can do more. I can push harder.
When
I
I
can
first
train
moved
more.
here, I was around, some people that had a lot of money, and it just like, bro, when I lived in Ohio, I wasn't making like any money. And like, when I moved out here, I was
It's probably not a normal thing either, is it?
What?
Like making money in Midwest and.
Well, I mean, I guess you can. I mean, my buddy Cartinian does really well with.
You can, but it's not as out there as it is in Vegas.
Right, but we're around people with money. It makes you want to make more money because you're like, oh, that's cool. They got a Ferrari. They got a G-Wagon. How do I get that? How do I get the house on the hill, like overlooking the strip? You know what I mean? Like, how do I do that? And bro, when I moved out here, it was just like something just switched. I literally went from like this to like this. It like right now.
Love that.
Right, yeah.
And then you're making the right friends.
Yeah, it's just it's like it's been a life change, bro.
I find with dating it would be hard because now you got to find someone who's exercising. It's got the same mindset. They got to be entrepreneur. They're not talking excuses. They're taking action.
Right.
It makes it it's more of a narrow fit, right?
Yeah.
You start to become a lot fussier on who you want to hang out with, but especially who you want to date.
Right. You just got to find somebody that aligns with, what you're doing. It's not going to stress you out.
One of my favorite quotes is like, those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're getting at.
Yeah.
You have a favorite quote, something that comes to mind that like
I don't really have many quotes. I like Ric Flair. I like Ric Flair quotes.
What is? I don't even know.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I am the man. I like that.
I like that a lot. And then just finally, goals. You write them down. You have them mentally. Do you set goals at all?
I don't write. I really don't write anything down. It's just always in my head. Like what I want to try to do. Like every year is just try to make more money and try to grow the business or get another store or get more clients or whatever. I just want to keep going up and up. And then once I get to there, and I'm just like, oh, not satisfied. Okay, how do I get more?
Do you self-reflect? Do you pat yourself on the back, or are you just always looking for that next thing?
I think I'm always just chasing what I can do next. Like when I turned pro, like I did a handful of bodybuilding shows, but then when I got in the NPC, I did the Ohio twice. I did this show in Michigan. It was like Infinity Fit Championships or something. And then I went and did the Mr. Pittsburgh. Then I went to Junior USA. And then I won my pro card. So I didn't really stick around like the amateur NPC shows very long. And like I won my pro card, and like it didn't really do anything for me.
Okay.
Like I know some people like cry and all this stuff. Like I was emotional because I won, but like after like that, I was just like, okay, what's next? You know what I mean? Even if I won the Arnold Classic, what my goal is, like I don't think it would do anything for me.
You think it's a curse? Because I'm the same way. You think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's good because then you're always wanting to level up. You know what I mean? You're not just like, I did it, and then you're just like, you're done. You know what I mean?
There's got to be a point where you're like, yeah, I'm good. I did good. I'm proud of myself. Now let's level up.
Yeah. I'm always striving to be better and better. And I got to figure out how I can just be like happy with what I got.
What makes you happy?
Just being successful, I guess. Just like be able to do the things and not be broke. Like I just like, I have to have X amount of dollars in my bank account. I have to, I want, like I got that new Corvette. I thought that was cool. And I was like, okay,
how do you like that?
How do I get the McLaren? You know what I mean?
That's got a pretty big engine
I pulled up to the Fit Club the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm feeling cool. I got my Corvette. I look over, it's brand new McLaren. I was like, ugh.
Damn.
I said, I guess I put it on my story. It's like, oh, I guess I gotta make more money. I don't know, bro. Like I'm a pretty happy guy. I just always just want what's better. You know what I mean?
You're so like business focused, training focused, diet focused. What do you do for fun, and how do you?
Oh,
how
do
do
I
you
love
switch
bowling?
off?
I like going bowling.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Like temping bowling?
Yeah, I used to go to the movie
really?
theater a lot until COVID, and then I haven't really been to the movies much. But I really like going to the movie theater. I like going bowling.
Just bowling?
I like Top Golf.
Okay.
Yeah, stuff like that.
That's
I mean, I don't
interesting.
drink or do anything. I like going to beach clubs too. Those are cool. I
And
just
you
like
go,
the
you won't
vibe.
drink. You're just going to hang
Oh,
out.
I mix music too. I learned how to DJ.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
okay.
so I get like these tech house songs and I just mix them up on my computer.
Okay, so you got a few hobbies
I got
there.
a little DDJ 1000 Pioneer, Off-White edition, just to let you know.
Okay. Just in case. So that's your way of switching off.
Yeah, like when I like a couple times a week, probably 3 or 4 days a week. If I'm like stressed out or whatever, if I got some free time, I just go in my little room. My friend Evan built me this standing station. I put my thing there and plug my computer in and just get after it
That's
for like an
interesting.
hour. Yeah,
I've been learning guitar like probably an hour a day.
dude. So I
and
always want to learn how to play guitar. I think that's so cool.
I'm addicted.
Yeah.
It's only like 6 months in, but it's an hour every day, and
Oh,
I love it.
nice.
It's just my way of switching off.
You know how to
And
play Photograph by Def Leppard?
I don't know.
Learn it and tag me online.
Okay, I'll do that. I got Chordify, and it literally gives you the chords for every song.
Oh,
and
cool.
once you learn the chords, you can pretty much play any
anything.
song.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I'm a big believer. The more you put in, the more you get out.
Yeah.
So I do. Thank you, man. That was
For
an
sure.
absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with everything, and
Thanks.
yeah, I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, for sure. I had a great time.